I just want him to play where he's going to be the most Connor Bedard he can be. I think they're still looking at him at center. I think faceoffs are a big part of it, but not the only thing. I think you could see Jeff Blashill sort of finding a way to make a system of play when Bedard is on the ice different from what he does when other guys are on the ice. So I'm curious to see what he thinks about Connor Bedard as a center. I like him in that role because it gives him a little more freedom to roam. He can kind of go everywhere, but it does create a bit of defensive responsibility too. I can't wait to see him in camp. All these videos we've seen all summer of him training, and he's competing with Macklin Celebrini at these camps and everything looks great. I want to see it on the ice against competition. I want to see, did he really add a step? Is he faster? Is he stronger? I believe he's going to be. But if he checked those boxes this summer, I'm playing him at center until he proves he can't be.
I think you want your most dangerous players at the most dangerous spots on the ice, and right down the middle is where you want Connor Bedard to be. So if he can hang with the responsibilities of being a center defensively, doesn't have to be Jonathan Toews, but if he's a guy that is, engaged and is using that hopefully extra step that he's gained this offseason that he's been working towards, you use that defensively. Like, his offensive game is there. Like, it can only grow as, he continues to physically mature and, learn the NHL and what works and what doesn't work. As the guys around him also improve, I think that's going to be a big part of it as well. And then, if he does add that step, that's going to help him on both ends of the ice. Faceoffs, look, if he can be like 45%
that's all you
for
need.
The year,
yeah,
that's totally fine. That's a significant improvement from what he's been his first 2 seasons in the NHL as a center. Like, if he's up to that level, that's fine. I'll accept that from him, so long as he's also like putting up the offensive numbers and that kind of production and impact that you expect from him. So I'm putting him at center. If he's abysmal defensively, if he's 30% from the faceoff dot, then I think you probably have your answer of move him to the wing, take a little bit of that defensive responsibility off of him, take just a little bit off of that plate so that more of his other contributions can grow. He's played a little bit on the wing. I think it was working, but also you want your best guys to be, like I said, in those positions. So I think center is still the spot you want to start him at and see where he can go.
I feel like there might be a bit of a feeling, too, of if he doesn't work out at center, it says something about his trajectory and, like, was he really generational? And is this kind of a failure on Bedard's part to not be an NHL center? I think that's more talking head type stuff. I think what matters for Connor Bedard is ultimately the numbers he produces in the NHL. That's what he was drafted to be, was a big time point per game plus scorer for the vast majority of his career. But a couple potential 100-point seasons were in the conversation, and I would even say expected when the scouting was happening about Bedard. So I don't think if he moves to wing, anyone needs to look at it as, oh man, this is a bit of a failure. Maybe he's not going to be quite as great as we thought he was going to be. The NHL is a different game. He's learning that now the hard way. And if you can get the most from him at wing, especially now that you've got Frondell in the system, you feel pretty comfortable with Nazar at center. You already mentioned Sasha Boisvert is probably going to be his center. That's a pretty good 1-2-3. Mm-hmm. And you put Bedard on the wing. If that frees him up to get the offense done and, like you said, takes away some of that defensive responsibility, fine. When you're building a team, if you look at the way that Kyle Davidson's drafted, it's a lot of guys that are responsible 200 feet. Right? Mm-hmm. Like they can defend, they can play all ways, everybody's fast, that's the idea. If the one guy in your team that can't defend is Connor Bedard, then that's the Patrick Kane role.
You live with that.
Put him at the wing, give him the puck all the time, let him work his magic, and you live with the defensive deficiencies because you've got 11 other forwards that can make up for it.